Hey everyone, hi, it's Rabbi Shlomo Farhi here, and I am excited for my 7th consecutive year with Pesach in Vallarta and Mati and the whole team. I have to say, I can't actually wait to get there, and that brings me beautifully to our topic. I hope to be able to spend Pesach with each and every one of you, and the parashiyot that we are discussing now at the time are specifically about what it is that we will be celebrating when we get to that Pesach time. The Torah says, "V'hotzeti etchem mitachat tzivlot Mitzrayim," and I will take you out from underneath the bondage and the slavery of Egypt. But the word savlanut, which means patience, and the word lisbol, which means to bear, are also connected to the word sivlot Mitzrayim. It's almost as if Hashem was saying, I will take you out from under being able to bear the weight of the slavery in Egypt. I will eliminate from you the savlanut, the patience that you have for the bondage in Egypt. Now that sounds like a crazy thing. I'm sure the Jewish people were impatient to leave. I'm sure that they did not want to bear the weight of such an oppression. However, what we learn from here is one of the most beautiful lessons about things that weigh us down and things that trap us and enslave us. You see, in Judaism, we don't celebrate freedom then, we celebrate freedom now. And in the same way that we were slaves back then, we can be slaves right now. And the first thing that a person needs if they want to be able to get out of slavery is to decide for themselves that they don't want it. Now, that doesn't sound like that's a very hard thing to do. Who wants to be a slave? But in fact, for so many of us, that is exactly the life that we live. We are willing to put up with and bear so many things that we should just not be willing to. We are patient with things that we should be impatient with. But we grow like every human being on the planet. We grow to become complacent. We grow to become accepting. We start to tell ourselves, that's just the way things are. That's just the way my life is. That's just the way my boss is, or my husband, or my wife, or my children. There's nothing I could do. An impatience in that moment is actually quite healthy. When I decide to myself, no, I don't want this anymore. I want to do something different. But so often we become so used to those things that we don't know another way. And in fact, when the Torah says that a new king stood up in Egypt and the Jewish people cried out, our Chachamim explained to us that they finally had a moment to breathe. And whereas when you're caught under a situation, you just think to yourself, survive, survive, survive. The minute you actually have a little bit of a break from it, a little tiny bit of space to breathe, you actually recognize, I can't do that anymore. When Am Yisrael was ready, they understood, they had time to be able to breathe enough. There was no kotzer ruach anymore. They could think for 1 second. They realized this is not something that we could stand for. We need to do something. And they prayed with all of their hearts. You know, it's important to be able, in all life's situations, to decide for ourselves when we've had enough of something and we won't have it this way anymore, and we're going to figure out how to make that change. You know, the New Year in the English or non-Jewish calendar has just passed, and for most of the non-Jewish world, they'll be talking about their New Year's resolutions. We're familiar with this from a different New Year, from our New Year, the New Year of Rosh Hashanah. But I always like to point out one thing about resolutions, whether they are for the English New Year or for the Jewish one. The key to resolutions is resolve, is deciding that this is something that I can't deal with anymore. And if I've accepted it for this long, that doesn't matter. I don't have to go on accepting it. I can change. I can make something better. I can do something amazing. And I can be the person that I always dreamed that I could be. Have a wonderful Shabbat and look forward to seeing you on Chag HaPesach with Pesach in Vallarta. Shabbat Shalom.